From Knoch High School, I'm Ed Codi, and this is Spotlight on Knoch Athletics. Over the years, Knoch has been very successful in team sports, WPL championships in football, in baseball, in volleyball, state championships in baseball and volleyball, WPL and state champions in other sports, tennis, and who can forget the great work done here by Jordan Geist, the Knoch Nest monster who set records throughout the WPL and the state in track. No one knows better than this athletic program than someone who grew up here, played here, has returned as athletic director, than Kurt Reiser.
Hi, Ed. Thanks for having me on today. We're excited to be a part of this program, and hopefully we can answer your questions to the best of our ability.
Well, Kurt, you were the head football coach at Till. You're an '89 graduate here at Knoch. What motivated you to come back here?
The opportunity to come home, to come back to my roots. You know, it was a special place for me when I was growing up. Had the opportunity to play for some great coaches here, and Larry Kunzelman on the football field, Les Shoup on the basketball court, and had fond memories of being a Knoch Knight. So it was the opportunity to really get back to my roots.
You know, Kurt, at one time when you talk to athletic directors, usually they taught half a day and then did their athletic duties. That's not true anymore. It's a full-time job. Tell us how many sports are involved and what a typical day is like for you.
We got a lot of sports, our fall sports especially, with kids involved. That's our busiest season, with volleyball, football, cross country, just a multitude of sports, and a lot of kids out on the playing fields doing what they do. And so our days are busy with aligning referees for games, transportation for teams to go to away games, making sure kids are staying up with their academics and things of that nature. So it's a long day, but it's an enjoyable day. It keeps you busy, and every day is a different challenge. So, you know, getting up every morning and coming into work and looking forward to what the day brings is all part of the job.
As the athletic director, you're involved in hiring coaches, evaluating coaches. What's one thing you expect from your coaches?
You know, to give our kids a great experience playing the sport that they love, you know, to bring passion and enthusiasm to coaching their sport, to develop them not just as athletes on the court or on the field, but to develop them as people as well. So, you know, I think our coaches do a great job with that. They spend a lot of time and put a lot of effort into coaching our kids. They genuinely care about our kids and want to see them do well and go on to bigger and better things. And you know, we want our kids to walk out of participating in athletics at Knoch High School and say that was the best experience that they've had.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because a lot of places, sometimes in minor sports, don't get the due recognition that they get, and it seems like you're very interested in them also.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had a cross-country team, our girls cross-country team this year, which is not one that you hear a lot about. But they won the section for the first time in 32 years, so we're very proud of what they did. And our girls tennis team went finishing runner-up in the WPIL and finishing runner-up at the state level were outstanding accomplishments. So those students and those coaches put in a great time of work and effort over the summer and in the fall, and you know, we're able to accomplish great things. We want to make sure that we get them recognized as well.
Kurt, are you involved much if there's an opening for a new position, say for basketball or track, in the hiring process?
I am. You know, we post those positions. I get the opportunity to screen the coaching applications for positions and review them with our high school principal and our superintendent. And, you know, we try to make the best decision for our programs as to who to bring in and who to coach for us that's going to provide that great experience for our kids.
So if you have one of your athletes would say to you, I'm going to go to college, and when I'm done, I'd like to be an athletic director someday like you, what advice would you give them?
You know, I think the key to this job is to, number one, is to be and have good time management, to be able to set your priorities as to what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and to stay organized. And if you can do those things, and if a student here was able to do those things as a student and then carry on into college and do that, you know, certainly they could take on a role like this.
Well, Kurt, thanks for accommodating us, having us here. It's a great tradition and program here, and we look forward to coming back and doing more athletic events with you.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. We appreciate your time today.
I'll be back with coaches and athletes. With me now is a highly successful tennis coach here at Knoch, Nance Conlon. Nance, 4 straight section championships. 2 girls win the doubles championship, and then Laura Greb, her 3rd straight WPL championship. Just a great run for you. Where's all this success come from?
Well, it comes from Laura and our number 2 player, Brooke Bauer. When they came on the team 4 years ago, really kind of changed the whole scene of our team, gave everybody else an opportunity to play in positions where they could win as well. So I can't win with just 2 girls, got to win 3 lines, so it enabled us to put everybody else in places where they could win and be completely successful.
Well, let's look at your doubles team championship, Abby Bauer and Allie Bauer and Libby Conlon. The success they had, WPL championship, and then your team, WPL runner-up, state runner-up. But let's talk about the doubles champs and what they did.
Well, Allie is our number 3rd singles, and Libby played first doubles all year. But they both practice off-season together, so they know each other very, very well. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So when we put them together in the section doubles, they went and won sections, and then they went on to the WPL, and they won there. They also went on to states. They ended up in the top 8 in the state. So they were very successful.
Were it not for Swickley Academy, we might be talking WPL and state champions also.
That's true. Those were only 2 losses this year in the WPL and at states.
Now, let me ask you, as a coach, Laura Greb, she wins 3 straight WPL championships. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, last 2 years she had to beat her teammate
Yes.
For the title, Brooke. So how did you, as a coach, what do you do when you have 2 of your players going against one another?
You really can't do anything. You just have to sit back and let them do their thing. They're both extremely talented. They're both tournament players. They both know each other very well. They're both good friends off the court. So that's what's really nice at the end. They always have a embrace and a hug and remain good friends. But it's good play.
So I came in thinking that Laura was a senior. She's won 3 straight. She has another year to go, and she's going to join Jordan Geis as one of the most decorated athletes here at Knoch.
Yes, and I'm sure she has that goal, but I also don't want to put any undue pressure on her a year ahead.
She's going to have a target on her back next year, everyone that she plays. Nance, how'd you get your start in tennis, and what's your approach to coaching?
Well, I started playing tennis about 25 years ago just for something to do, and kind of fell in love with the sport and got my daughters into it. So we've been involved in the program as a parent 12 years in a row. And then once my 3rd daughter was in the program and there was an opening here for a coach, I went ahead and applied for it. I didn't care who did it. I had never coached before, but I was very interested in seeing the program sustain itself and grow. So I got the job. No one else applied, but I got the job, and I'm in my 7th year, and I absolutely love it.
Well, you must be doing something right to win 4 straight section titles. So let me ask you, when you coach, and do you any scouting of the other teams at all, or what do you do to prepare your team? Let's say you're going to have a tennis match with Mars. How do you prepare them? Are there things you know about Mars that you need to tell your team?
Yes, we generally do know, especially if we've played those teams before. We generally know who's coming up in the ranks and who's graduated. So there's always been a game plan ahead of time. Very few times until we get to the state playoffs and the WPL playoffs where we really don't know the teams are we not extremely prepared. But we always try to be a little bit prepared going in. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing.
So with your seniors on your team this year, moving on, like Libby, any plans where they're going to college and so forth?
Well, Libby's pursuing right now, and she is going to probably play college tennis, but she's probably going to be D2 or D3. No, nothing confirmed yet.
It doesn't matter, dude. You're playing in college. It's still going to be highly competitive. And what do things look like for you next year?
We look really good. I do lose Libby. She was a starter. I lose Jaden, who is Libby's partner during the season. But I am gaining Laura Greb's 2 younger sisters. So I think we're in a pretty good position next year, too. So
next year you're going to shoot for your 5th straight section title and maybe get that WPL championship.
Absolutely. That is definitely the goal. Definitely the goal.
Well, Nance, thanks a lot. Congratulations on a great season and a wonderful job you do here with the tennis team.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll be back with some of the athletes.
Armstrong's Healing Heroes initiative is changing lives for area veterans struggling with disabilities, such as PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and more. These incredible dogs help give people back their self-confidence and independence. We've raised over $250,000 to train and donate medical service dogs from guardian angels in the communities we serve. If you or a loved one are a qualifying veteran, please visit ArmstrongOneWire.com/healingheroes and click Apply Now. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.
With me now is one of the most decorated athletes in Knoch High School history, 3 times WPL champion singles in tennis, and we're talking to Laura Greb. Laura, just tremendous accomplishment, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Let's go back when you were in 9th grade, because I came in here thinking you were a senior after winning 3 straight, but you have another year to go to add to your accolades. How long have you been playing tennis? When did you get your start, and what was 9th grade like for you?
Well, I first started playing when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I didn't really take it seriously until I was like 10, playing with tournaments and stuff. But yeah, and my freshman year went really well. I won Whitfields, which I didn't expect to. I just went in not knowing what to expect, and then did well in states too.
So when you were a freshman, you win the 2A WPL singles championship. So you were just kind of loose and just going out and playing, and then the following year you win it again, and you're starting to think what?
Like, oh, this is cool. I don't know. Like, definitely my goal to win it again for the 3rd year this year, and was able to do that.
So what's the strength of your game? What would you say if someone's going to play you, that the strength that you have that they'll have to be able to handle?
Probably my biggest strength is my serve. I think I have a strong serve, and then all around my game's pretty solid, I think. And try to stay calm on the court my best, so it's hard to rattle me sometimes.
When I watch tennis on TV, sometimes I hear that both women and the men, there's a grunt there when they strike the ball. Do you do that too?
Sometimes. If it gets into a long point or a hard point and you're just like giving everything you have, yeah, I let out a grunt.
So let me ask you about training, getting yourself in shape. What do you do year-round to keep yourself in shape? I'm sure it's just not playing tennis all the time.
No, it's a lot more than just swinging a racket. You have to be physically fit, and like I work out in the gym sometimes, but the biggest thing is like sprinting and being fast and able to move on the court is big.
So with all the serving that you do and striking the ball, what do you do to keep your shoulders healthy?
Stretching and ice them a lot, and just make sure they're healthy.
So looking at next year, looking at a 4th straight WPL championship, you remember call you the female Knoch Nest monster along with Jordan Geis, and you say you know Jordan. I'm sure somewhere in the back of your mind you're thinking about that state title.
Yeah. This past year wasn't the results I had hoped for, but next year I'll hopefully come out stronger and maybe be able to get that state title.
At some point during the season, does fatigue set in? You need a little bit of a break from practice to get yourself ready for the next match, or you just keep going?
No, I keep going. I play all year round every day, so always, when you have the passion for a sport like that, you don't really ever get tired of it.
So you play here through the winter time also?
Mm-hmm, yes.
And where do you go to play in the winter time?
I train at Alpha Tennis of Pittsburgh.
So your senior year's coming up. I know you have to be thinking about college. I know some colleges have to be interested in you. Any particular schools that you have in mind?
Not right now. I've been talking to a lot, so just keeping my options open, and we'll see.
And I could tell you're a good student. You were carrying your book with you. Anything in particular you plan on studying in college?
I'm not quite sure yet, but I know I want to do something either in engineering or computer science.
Okay, you're a smart one. You got a career ahead of you. Laura, thanks a lot for joining. Congratulations to you on just 3 great years, WPL champs, and hopefully next year you're going to get that state championship too.
Thank you so much.
I'll be back with some more athletes. With me now are the three tri-captains of the Knoch High School volleyball team, the most decorated sports team in school history. These three played the last 3 years with 3 straight WPL championships, a state championship in 2017, and a record for 3 years of 69-3-1. Congratulations, girls. Let's start over here with Skylar.
Hello.
To you, this is Hannah Rowe.
Hello.
Skylar Burkett, I'm sorry, and Kennedy Christie.
Hello.
Skylar, I want to go back to you. Hannah was out with a back injury. Kennedy was out with a concussion, and you took over the reins. Was this something you talked about with Coach Diane Geist, or you just said, I'm going to step it up?
I personally, it was nerve-wracking at first because I was like, oh, crap, who are big hitters, it was kind of scary going into, playoff season and knowing, we need to pick it up. And I was nervous, but I think that I was confident in myself that I could, pull through and be someone for my team that could just pick the level of play up, and I think we accomplished that, so.
And Hannah, we did your match with Mars, and you started that first set, but your back injury flared up. What exactly was wrong with your back? You missed, 3 or 4 matches in a row?
Probably more than that. I missed all of Whitbeals. I missed the rest of the regular season for our school. They thought that it was a back spasm for the longest time, and then I did further evaluation with a hospital, and I had 2 herniated discs in my lower back.
And so how's that coming along? What's the treatment for that?
Rest and physical therapy and more rest, pretty much.
And this is coming after you had a knee injury.
Yeah.
So you're healthy now.
My knee is. My back's not completely back to 100%, but we're getting there, so.
But you have a little time to recoup. You're headed next year to Albany. You're going to be a great Dane. You excited about your college career coming up?
Yes, I'm very excited. It's a big relief to kind of have that all set out and planned already, so I'm excited, very excited.
And Kennedy, you also, Kennedy Christie, you missed a number of games. You had a concussion. How did you get this concussion in volleyball?
It was during the Shaler game, and it was the last season game before playoffs. And I dove for a ball, and as I dove, Morgan Jack, our setter, also dove with me. And we kind of collided, and she kneed me in the head on one side, and then I kind of dropped and hit my head off the floor on the other side. So.
And then you came back and helped them win a few more matches. You're healthy now. You're headed to Juniata next year. So let me ask you three, and she picked up the slack there with you two injured. You girls all smashed that ball. Was there a competition among you with who has the toughest, hardest keel? Whatever. I've seen you hit some smashes. I wouldn't want to get in front. I think I'd get a concussion. And the same with you. You hit that one in the Mars, and then I think the way you torqued, you aggravated your back. There has to be some competition amongst you three about who gets the most kills in a game, which is a good thing.
I wouldn't say it's a competition. I think that in practice we're aggressive with each other so that we're making each other better, but the kills don't really count in games as much. We're not trying to outdo one another for the kills. It's whatever is helping the team.
So let me ask all of you this. I'm always interested in volleyball. We love doing volleyball. What is the strategy involved? Are you watching films of the other team, or just what your coach tells you?
We usually watch films. Coach Geist, she would look them up and be they have huddle films on their best 3 hitters, so you can go watch those, or previous game film we would always watch before games.
And over the years, your toughest competition has always been?
Freeport, but we didn't play them this year, so.
Did you girls play in North Allegheny one year?
No.
No, I think it was Freeport then. That was the one loss that they had one year. They went against North Allegheny. So what's been the best thing about this run, the 3 straight WPL championships, state championship, a record that's unbelievable, the most decorated, once again, volleyball athletic team in school history. What's been the greatest about this run, Skylar?
I think it's awesome because it's been the same people for all my high school, and I think that knowing that we were one of the top teams, I thought it kept us humble, honestly. You wouldn't think so, but I think that was always our motto, to stay knowing that it's harder to be on top than to work your way up, and we definitely like had to deal with that, and I think we strived all 4 years of our high school. So
Now, I was talking to you before. You haven't made a decision yet about where you're going to be next year. You're still thinking about it.
yeah, I've had a few offers on the D2 level and D3, but I'm just trying to pick what would be more. I want to stay close, so I'm talking to Pitt Johnstown right now, so I have to go visit soon. I think that's coming up, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, you girls know you're going to be lucky to duplicate this success and camaraderie when you go to college. It's just been a great 3 years. And Hannah, what are you going to take away from your 3 years here?
Definitely never take anything for granted. My injury taught me that once you're out for volleyball for that long of a time, you don't realize how much you miss it and how much you take like being with your team for granted. So.
And Kennedy?
Yeah, I'd kind of say the same thing Hannah would. Like, everyone always tells you, like, it goes by so quick. And I was a freshman, like, come on. Like, it's not going to go by that quick. But, like, now I'm a senior. And, like, it didn't hit me when we lost our last game. I didn't get really that upset that it was, like, my last game ever. But when I got home, I was, like, looking in the mirror and I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm about to take this jersey off and never put it back on again. And that was, like, kind of when I was like, it's over. Like, I'm never going to play a sport at Knoch again. So.
Well, girls, you know what? You're going to really appreciate this 10 years from now when you have a reunion, a class reunion. And it's just going to get better as the years go by. But once again, congratulations on a phenomenal run, the most decorated sports team in Knoch High School history. This has been Spotlight. I'm Ed Codi. We'll see you next time.